Everyone, welcome to Locked On Lakers, a special bonus episode for a Saturday. Brian Kamenetsky, Andy Kamenetsky. The Lakers beat the Hawks 119-102 as LeBron passes Michael Jordan for the most 30-point games in NBA history. That's next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Lakers your first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes on Saturdays. No matter how or where you get your podcast, this one's always going to be free and always, I should say, never behind a paywall. Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where, I'm just going to call it 27,000 subscribers at this point, are all hanging out. Really getting into this little hot streak the Lakers are on. They win their 7th in 9 tries, beat Atlanta 119-102 on Friday at the Crypt. Second night of a back-to-back, this time with Anthony Davis in the fold. And I'll be honest with you, Andy, I mean, obviously, it wasn't a blowout win from wire to wire or whatever. Atlanta came in playing pretty good. And so, this is a pretty decent team the Lakers beat. I felt like this was just one of the more efficient, workmanlike wins the Lakers had all year. You get a big game from LeBron, a lot of work from Anthony Davis, contributions around the roster, really, solid effort defensively. It wasn't terribly flashy, but man alive, they just sort of got the job done on Friday.
I think the Lakers were always in control of it, and the defense was something they could always lean back on. Case in point, Atlanta, they average 117 points a game, and they did not score 30 points once in any quarter in this game. I thought the Lakers, Trae Young got his, but I thought they did a pretty credible job, at least making him work. It wasn't even that he was inefficient. I mean, 10 of 22 for 33 points, got the line 12 times, made 10 of them, only 3 of 9 from the arc, but 9 assists against 3 turnovers. I mean, Trae Young had a nice game, but it didn't feel to me like he was taking it over, even if he played well. And, that's always going to be the first goal whenever you go up against this Hawks team. And it's very, very weird to be thinking about the Lakers this way, but at this point it feels like they've become a pretty reliable defensive team at this point. Like, it's not going to be perfect every single game, but even like when they allowed 122 against the Cavaliers last week, Cleveland calls that their scoring average. Like by Cleveland standards, that's not beating the crap out of them. That's just the number one offense in the league acting like the number one offense in the league. This defense over the last couple of weeks, especially, that moment where they put Christie into the starting lineup, and now with Dorian Finney-Smith added to the mix, they've been quite good.
Yeah, and the numbers bear that out for Friday night. 41% overall for Atlanta, and look, the Hawks shot 17.5% from 3-point range. Is that all Lakers defense? No, probably not. But DeAndre Hunter was 1 of 12. I mean, your guys have those nights, but I mean, overall, the Lakers, they forced some early turnovers against a team in Atlanta that does not turn the ball over very much. And I kind of was looking at it this way. The Lakers shot almost 49% from the floor. They were over 43% from 3-point range, and they were 80% from the line. They kept, the only real blemish on their work offensively was turnovers. Yeah. And I actually thought for turning the ball over as much as they did, 18 times, to hold Atlanta to 41%, it really is good work, because you are giving up, not only just giving up a lot of shot opportunities yourself, but opening up a lot of opportunities for Atlanta to turn around and score the other way. And, as particularly as the game went on, I think they just, and JJ Redick talked about this after the game, their defensive integrity just got better and better and better as the game went on. And I think that is also a nice indicator of how they're playing as a team, where they sustain good work throughout a game, get a little better as it goes along. That's the sign of a good team.
Yeah, they did a nice job when you were talking about getting back in transition. Like there were several plays. I remember Reddish doing it a couple times, but I think there were other guys as well that managed to do a good job deflecting a pass as Atlanta was looking to run. So they would just disrupt what Atlanta was looking to do, and then they could actually, even if the ball did not go, out of bounds and you completely reset the clock, you just slow it down and you just allow guys to get back. And they made up for their mistakes pretty well. I mean, we'll be honest, the turnovers have become a problem for this team. Austin Reaves, 6 assists against 6 turnovers, and Reaves has been really, I think, the guiltiest in terms of the sudden rash of turnovers with this team. I remain concerned about the balance for him and stuff being a little too piled up on his plate, more than he can handle. But the team in general needs to become better at just taking care of the ball. Like there was a play where, it didn't end up becoming a turnover because the Lakers recovered it, but like Anthony Davis was holding the ball near the top of the arc, and Dyson Daniels, who I don't know how he only had, I believe, 4 steals listed in this game. 5. It felt like 25. But Daniels just poked the ball away from AD as he was just sort of surveying the floor. They just need to be more careful with it in general. And
yeah, they made some loose plays around a guy like Daniels that you, at this point, you ought to know better. Like they're giving him Australian style nicknames for the amount of steals that he has. The Great Barrier Thief, which is really one of the top notch NBA nicknames. And yeah, I mean, this was a bit of a regression game, I think, from a turnover standpoint for Reaves. Been a little bit better over the last couple, but there's going to be fluctuations in that. And, I
mean, it wasn't his best game in general. He had 20 points, but he was 6 of 18 from the field. Like, it was not a particularly good game for Reaves to begin with.
And, and they were able to absorb that pretty effectively, but just to finish up the turnover thing, 4 from AD is a lot too. And
yeah.
So it's like and then, 3 from LeBron, like they start to pile up that way when your primary guys are turning the ball over that way. But you absorb that because you get 30 points from LeBron. You get 18 and 19 from AD,
6
along
stocks.
with 6 stocks. So that's where I was going to go next.
Yeah.
Plus 17 in his 37 minutes because of that defensive, that defensive level of play. And then, moving down the roster a little bit, Christie was in single digits, but gave you 9, and combined with a really good second half from Dorian Finney-Smith, those 2 guys give you 17 as like your defensive oriented players. You get 13 from Rui, who was 6 of 9. Nice bounce back game from him. He did finally hit a 3-pointer with Dorian Finney-Smith on the roster.
Plus 8 boards. Maybe JJ sat down with him and said, it's going to be okay.
Right.
Like he's on the team. It's going to be nice fine.
Yeah. But, so that was good. And, Dalton Knecht had a huge second quarter. He was 3 of 4 from 3-point range. Hopefully that is a sign of something to come. It's just, like I said, I felt like they didn't do anything particularly spectacular. It wasn't, 30 and 8 from LeBron is cool. And it's a good game. And it's his, how many 30-point game? 500 and whatever.
563. He passed Michael Jordan. 563, and should be noted and counting, because I seriously doubt this is going to be the last 30-point game of LeBron's career. He also scored the 29th and 30th points on a very MJ-esque baseline turnaround fadeaway. I mean, I'm not saying that LeBron was conscious of how he wanted to score that 30th point that put him over the top with MJ. I'm just saying he shot a lot of baseline turnaround fadeaways up to that point. The man seemed very aware of the theater of it all, and good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can never put it past LeBron to be aware of something like that. And but definitionally, 562 came on Thursday. Like you say, 563 and counting, and then just sort of definitionally, if LeBron has done something 563 times, it's not out of the ordinary. And so, I just, this is one of my favorite wins of the 20 now that the Lakers have this season, in part because it just felt like their good players were generally doing stuff you kind of expect them to do. They got nice support from the supporting cast, and you feel like this defensive turnaround that they're on is gaining some. It's starting to stick, for lack of a better way. Like they've done it for enough games in a group where you feel like, okay, this kind of is maybe what they are.
A couple other things I wanted to point out that jumped out at me. Shake Milton with 4 assists in just 13 minutes. But I remember I had said after the first game, I was interested to see with Milton, as he gained more familiarity with his teammates, if we started seeing a little bit more facilitation from him, especially with Gabe Vincent continuing to be out. And it has trended more in that direction. So that's good for Milton at the very least, if he wants to make his case to stay on the floor when Vincent is back. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. Redick has made it very clear that he likes Gabe a lot, and Gabe had been playing pretty well before he got hurt. But the most you can ask for Shake is to make his case, and I thought he did that tonight. Also, too, with Dorian Finney-Smith, and I'm not sure I've ever seen this before. This is the second game in a row where he's had a 3-point shot blocked and he tracked down his own miss. This time he turned it into a reverse layup, but that happened on Thursday where he had a 3 blocked. He tracked down the miss. He turned it over, but then stole the ball back. I'm like, this guy really does not give up on plays at all. Like he
doesn't like to get a shot blocked. It apparently makes him mad.
He is playing kind of a Vando-esque role on this team. That's a very Vando-esque quality. Like Vando is a guy that also doesn't give up on plays. That it's rare to see a 3-point shot blocked in the first place, much less the same guy having it blocked, much less 2 games in a row. But DFS turned that stuff into a positive.
Yeah, I mean, and I thought it was interesting the way that Redick after the game really differentiated between the halves there for DFS. Like even just listening to JJ, we can wrap here, but like even just listening to JJ talk about the things he didn't like in the first half were very specific. It was, related to how they were reacting to slip screens or ghost screens and whatever from Bogdanovich. Like over switching on things that they should have realized weren't going to happen, and creating and just getting into the sort of second level stuff of what they're doing, like what they were doing or not doing in terms of following the game plan, which indicates to me that they are adding to the defensive, the detail on the defensive game plan. And so, yeah, it's just another sign that they feel internally like this defensive run that they're on is sustainable. So we'll see. The Lakers get a couple days off before heading to Texas to play the Mavs and the Rockets. If they can win one of those, now you're really talking about, the Mavericks playing shorthanded without Luka, but still a tough game. And if they can, play some good basketball on the road trip, you're really talking about something at that point. So we'll see how that goes. Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where you can go hang out with almost 27,000 subscribers. But Andy, we cannot leave before telling people that the show Locked On Lakers is brought to you in part by Intuit TurboTax. Are you tired of the endless waiting, wondering, and worrying about your taxes? Well, that is now a thing of the past. You see, taxes, they don't need to be complicated or stressful. TurboTax is here to change the game. matching you with a TurboTax expert who can get to work on your return right away. No more waiting for answers, no more wondering if you're missing out on deductions. Whether you've got one form or 20, TurboTax experts give your taxes their undivided attention while you get real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on what really matters. You won't have to lift a finger, but you will get the peace of mind knowing that your taxes are being handled by the pros. So if you're ready for stress-free taxes and the most money back guaranteed, you head on over to TurboTax.com today and get matched with your expert who's ready to take your taxes off your plate so you can focus on your day. Only available with TurboTax Live full service, real-time updates only in the iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
And Locked On Lakers is also brought to you by Rocket Money. Did Rocket Money help you find subscriptions that you had forgotten about or that you were paying twice? Like it's happened for me, and I've been like, whoa, when did I even sign up for that? Much less how long have I been paying for it? And it is just a huge assist in just your finances and keeping everything on point. They help you cancel unwanted subscription. They can monitor your spending. They can lower your bills, and they help you just cancel the things you don't want. It's a cancel culture that everybody can agree upon. Rocket Money has over 5 million users. They've saved a total of 500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions, reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon, rocketmoney.com/locked on.
All right, we'll see everybody next time.